If it'll even show up, that is. Please. There we go. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to stream today, but story as old as my fucking VTubing career's been around. I started a visual novel. I want to. I want to play it. I really want to play it. I suddenly came into some free time this evening, so I'm gonna play more of it, and hopefully finish it. Maybe, I don't know yet. We're into chapter 5. I don't know how long we are into it. Allow us to continue. I end up bringing Abigail into Tara's room. The two of us carefully step over the pile of clothes on the floor to sit on the bed. She bounces on it a few times. I don't think she just springs.
Having fun?
How do you people sleep in these? Aren't you afraid of just bouncing out of bed?
It's not that bouncy. It's just comfortable.
I suppose tomorrow I can let you know if I agree. So, what is it you wanted to talk about?
It's
hard to put into words, but no matter what I had been preparing for myself, and no matter what I'd been preparing myself for, a conversation like this wasn't part of it.
It's about family. Our family.
You're a Dulcing as well?
I'm a Fisher, actually. But a change in last name doesn't change the fact that we're part of the same family.
Oh shit. Lore. At first, I couldn't believe it. When Maddie and Abigail were telling their story, I thought that there must have been some sort of misunderstanding, or that I'd heard wrong. The details all matched up, not just with what Evelyn's told me over the years. She's tried to break my spirits with the notes and journals left behind by those before me.
So she hasn't changed after all these years. It's still us.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be next. There isn't anyone else. No siblings or aunts or uncles. Just me and her.
She makes a sound of sympathy and moves closer to me on the bed, touching my shoulder gently. I tense up, almost shaking hard enough to shrug her off, but she remains. I don't want to be that person anymore. The one afraid to let anyone close physically or emotionally.
I'm sorry.
I just nod. I can tell that she doesn't know what to say either, and that's fine.
Do you mind if I ask you something?
Sure.
Why didn't you leave? Back in my time, it wasn't even a possibility. There was no way I could have escaped. We wouldn't have gotten very far if we'd tried. But now, Madison's told me about all sorts of fantastic machines and devices. Surely you could have gone.
I shrug. Of course I considered it, dreamed about it even, but there's no way she could have known that, and besides...
I thought about running away many times. I thought of a lot of different ways to make sure she couldn't hurt me anymore. But the same thing stopped me every time. She wouldn't just give up because I'm not around. She'd find someone else, just like she always has. And they'd die instead.
I brace myself for her to tell me that's ridiculous, and that I should have put myself first, or to burst into tears at the very notion. Instead she laughs. Not a happy laugh though.
I see. I understand. Truly. I chose to die for someone else's sake as well. Someone I cared about very deeply.
She sighs wistfully, remembering days long gone. I can't help but smile the same way that she laughed.
I see I'm just carrying on the family tradition then.
Let's make sure it ends with you.
I nod. It will, one way or another.
I am glad, though, to know that her family turned out to have people as wonderful as you.
I'm really not anything that special.
I disagree. Not just anyone could have done what you have.
She leans forward, wrapping her arms around me in a gentle hug. This time, I don't hesitate. I hug her back. Family. It's never been a word that really meant much to me. All I've ever had was that monster in my home. Now though, I realise that that's no longer the case. We separate, and I gesture towards the door. She nods. Together we leave the room and rejoin the rest of our family. Over our girl Maddie. Just a moment. Guys, I haven't set up. Probably don't need to bother setting up chat on my phone, but just in case. Abigail and Morgan came out of Tara's room and joined us, both smiling. I'll have to ask her what they talked about later tonight. But right now, I just enjoy the moment. I feel more at peace than at any time since arriving in Eisenfeld. Even during the sweetest moments of Abigail, there was still the lingering bleakness of being a ghost. Now, despite the threat of Evelyn, it feels like there's a chance of everything turning out well. As we talk, Morgan's cat comes and hops up onto my lap. I would have expected her to take Abigail, not me. I scratch behind her ears and she leans into the motion, purring contently. Tara notices this substrate.
Wait a sec. Mads, I just realized, but you haven't met Gelidura yet, right?
I have. Back in the shop, right after we arrived. Remember?
No, I mean like, met her. Morgan was right. She really can talk.
She can.
I can.
The cat looks up from my lap, staring into my eyes. Her tail swishes lazily.
If I feel like it.
Both Abigail and Maddie stare in shock at the talking cat.
Then why didn't you sooner?
It's the first question that comes to mind. Gelidora closes her eyes. After a moment, I start to think that she's fallen asleep, but she opens them once more.
I didn't feel like it.
Oh shit. I looked over at Morgan, sitting across from me.
I guess I owe you an apology.
It's fine. She certainly didn't make it easy to believe.
Gelidora stands up, her tail lashing as she strides over to drape herself across Abigail. In response, Abigail strokes Gelidora's fur, looking almost as gleeful as when we had our first meal.
I didn't know if I could trust you. Now I know.
I leave the two of them to their cooing and cuddling, and walk over to the front window, peering outside. How many times have I stared at the stars these past few nights? Abigail taught me a few constellations, but tonight, it looks like an entirely different sky. I rest my head against the window pane, soaking in the starlight and calm.
Hey, by the way, you said you only came into the village that one time, right?
Yeah, we didn't want to risk it any more than that. Not with how close we came to Evelyn.
Makes sense. You, didn't see anything embarrassing when you were spying on us, right?
We weren't spying. Or at least we weren't trying to. But no, thank God.
Oh, phew. For real though, after this is over, but before we leave, you've got to show us some of the cool spots in the forest.
Sure, that'd be fun. Actually, do you want to go right now?
Wait, for real?
I can show you the fairy clearing at least. That's our favorite spot.
How long a walk is it? It's getting kinda late.
Oh, we wouldn't need to walk.
Tara's face slowly morphs from puzzlement to excitement as she realizes what I'm suggesting.
You mean like magic?
I nod.
Oh hell yeah!
Enthusiasm startles Gelidora, who hops up and runs away. Abigail gestures in vain for her to come back.
You two up for a field trip?
Oh, poor baby. Abigail, still upset from losing her new friend, nods stiffly and says nothing. Oh, poor baby.
Sure.
Gelidora trapezes back in, returning to Abigail's feet. Abigail perks up immediately.
Would you like to come with us, Miss Gelidora?
I suppose so. Carry me.
Abigail gladly obliges. She's so cute, my heart. I lead everyone outside and into the tree line, just in case there's anyone watching. I gather everyone into a circle and the four of us lock hands while Gelidora perches on Abigail's neck.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
The forest greets me, and I respond in kind. It shows us the way of its heart, the way to its heart, to the lake. I hold Abigail and Tara's hand tightly and breathe the softest sigh. I thank the forest, then I open my eyes and we're here. As soon as we arrive, I can feel the presence of the fairies in my mind. They're instantly aware that we're here, and I send them all a mental greeting, which is returned right away. Gelidora slicks her ears back, and her tail begins to lash harder than before. I wonder if she can feel magic too. Before I can ask, Tara whistles in awe.
Dang, Mads. You really leveled up, huh?
I put all my skill points into magic.
Even Morgan looks dumbstruck. Something I'm not used to. Something I'm not used to from her. She tilts her head back, staring in open-mouthed wonder at the glimmering trees and fairy lights.
What is this place? Are we really still in the forest?
Yes, it's a very special grove. It was one of the first places I brought Madison. We came back here many times.
It definitely feels magical. Oh, damn it. I should have brought my camera.
We all head down to the pond. Tarag and Morgan gawk at its unfrozen water, the same way I did when I first saw it. I feel a strange sense of pride seeing them so excited about this place. A loud buzzing suddenly fills the air. Before I can warn Tara and Morgan what's about to happen, fairies burst forth from the trees. Tara yelps in shock as they pass over her, wings beating noisily.
Your Majesty! You're back! You returned!
Hello, you three.
It's nice to be greeted so enthusiastically, even if I didn't exactly want to be queen. I wave excitedly, expecting the three of them to come to me right away. But to my surprise, the fairies sail right past me and walk around Abigail instead. Gelladora hisses as Abigail shrinks back, looking afraid. Oh shit, it's the cat!
I'm not your queen. She's over there.
Abigail tries to point to me, but the fairies ignore her.
No, you're not. We know you aren't. It isn't you.
One of them reaches for Gelladora, and she swats at the fairies with one paw, just like Abigail did when we first encountered them. The fairies react with shocked indignance, their mouths open in identical shapes of puzzlement. They abandon verbal communication and instead emanate a wave of questioning curiosity. Although I can feel it, it's not directed at me. By listening, or rather by feeling, I realize who they're communicating with. Gelladora.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Just to be sure I'm right, I communicate a request for confirmation. Despite her discomfort, Gelladora turns to me from Abigail's arms, blinking languidly.
Yes, that's right.
Now I'm the one whose jaw drops in shock.
Care to fill us in, Mads?
Cat? Gelladora? Fairy Queen.
Everyone is silent for a moment, even the fairies, then Abigail clears her throat.
Does that mean I should set you down then?
No, this is fine.
Wait a second. A little seed of hope blooms instantly within my heart. The fairies answer my question before I can even think it. The seed of hope withers and dies in response.
Maddie?
God damn it. I close my eyes tightly. See Gelladora in my mind's eye, and the rest of the world fades away as I speak to her. Once again, the fabrics of time tear and disappear. The fairies guide our voices. Gelladora can't be Fairy Queen, not anymore, not after what the Moonsick one did to her. Evelyn. The last pieces of the puzzle fall into place. I see it clearly. Evelyn, the rogue fairy, burning under the moonlight. The Fairy Queen ritual gone wrong. Gelladora running after Evelyn. And then disappearing. Without realizing it, I reached out for Gelladora, stroking her fur. The fairies and I communicate with the Heart of the Woods. To free her, and to restore her rightful place to the throne. The woods usher forth its strength. The fairies conglomerate around us, the buzzing increasing in frequency until it's a dull hum. I reach within myself. The waxing moon basks the scene, and I gather its light into a pool in my hands. I reach out and feel the magic of Gelladora begin. It burns to the touch. Gelladora yowls in pain, and all at once the magic shatters and melts away. With a gasp, I'm back to the present. Abigail rushes over to catch me, and the effect of time returns. With their interest in the obsolete queen waning, the fairies clump back up and get ready to depart.
We'll see you again soon. When the moon is at its brightest. One way or another.
With that cheerful reminder, they take off, fading out of sight. I separate their thoughts from my own and push them away.
Madison, what happened?
I take a deep breath and steady myself. Abigail scoops the pained Gelladora into her arms, petting and cooing.
It's a long story. I'll tell you later. Gelladora, are you alright?
Yes, It was foolish to think you, new Spring Queen, could dispel such a powerful curse on a waxing moon.
Gilladora turns away and grooms herself. I felt a rush of guilt. Tara touches my arm slightly.
You okay, Mads?
Yeah, I'm fine.
She grins and pats my back, trying to ease the mood. She stretches wide and lets out a huge, nervous laugh.
Oh, good. Well, that wasn't like anything I expected. The fairies, especially.
What did you think they'd be like?
I have no idea. But it definitely didn't involve your cat being a queen.
I would have gotten you the nicer cat food if I'd known.
Yo, Gelato, how come you never told us you were a fairy queen?
Gilladora doesn't even deign? Sure. To look at Tara.
You never asked.
Little shit. As soon as we arrive back at the cabin, Abigail makes a mad dash towards the couch and flops down on it with a loud thud. I'm a little surprised by how quickly she covers the distance. Gilladora leaps from her arms and trots over to the kitchen, immediately sticking her face in her football.
Oh, my feet.
Are they sore? I can imagine walking around again after so long might be a bit draining.
No, it's not that. It's these boots.
Abigail kicks off her boots and sends them flying. Eliciting a yelp of surprise from Tara as one of the boots nearly hits her dead on.
Your feet are bigger than mine. Do you have any idea what it feels like to get snow in your boots for the first time in 200 years?
The three of us shudder in unison at the thought. Tara takes another step from the boot, as if she's afraid of it infecting her with cold feet.
I can tell you right now that when we do go to America, I'm going to be spending the entirety of the winter months indoors.
I can't help but grin at her words. Even if it wasn't entirely serious, that's the first time I've ever heard her speak about our future together with that much certainty. I make my way to the couch and sit down beside her, putting my arms around her without a second thought. She leans against me, our bodies perfectly aligned. Reunited at last, the four girls spend a precious, relaxed moment together at the cabin. Abigail and Maddie listen to Tara tell a story while Morgan watches lovingly from the kitchen.
When the summer months roll around, I am definitely taking you ladies to the beach.
Abigail instantly perks up at that, clasping her hands together and leaning towards Tara with a huge grin on her face.
Yes! Goodness! The sand, the sun. I'd love to see the ocean.
Morgan seems a little less enthusiastic about the prospect of the beach, her face and expression more of concern than excitement.
If we go to the beach, I'm going to end up looking like a lobster.
Yeah, but you'd be a really hot lobster.
Try as hard as I can to suppress a groan, but Morgan and Abigail both chuckle. Abigail I can understand, but the fact that Morgan genuinely finds that keen thing endearing is baffling.
Thanks, babe. So, Abigail, what's the most interesting invention you've seen since you came back?
I suppose... I haven't seen much of it, but the internet seems like a wonderful tool. I love the idea of being connected and sharing thoughts, feelings, and creativity with everyone around the world.
My girl! There isn't a single person more qualified to teach you about the internet than I am. We are gonna have a blast.
There is no way I'm going to let you be the one to show her around the web. You get into enough trouble on your own.
But Madison doesn't Tara perform on the internet? I assume that means she's very knowledgeable about its workings.
Tara raises an eyebrow and leans down to place her hands on the table, staring closely at Abigail.
So Mads told you about Terranormal, huh?
Oh no.
She told me some things. I know you tell stories about supernatural occurrences and that you take them very seriously, even when they're quite obviously untrue.
Did she now?
Sweetie, maybe we shouldn't...
And she told me that people all over the world enjoy watching you. It sounds like you must be an incredible storyteller.
Nice save.
Tara breaks into the same massive grin she's always put on when she knows she's found a new audience.
You don't know the half of it, Abby. I've got a million of them.
I roll my eyes and lean back against the couch. Abigail just moves closer, ready to hear whatever Tara's going to say next. Just looking at her feels healing. If listening to Tara's stories makes her happy, then Tara can tell as many of them as she wants. Not that I'd ever tell Tara that, of course. One story turns to another. Morgan and I will chime in with a correction every now and then, but we mostly let Tara work her magic. Abigail keeps asking questions and Tara keeps eating them up. If Morgan's anything like me, she must enjoy seeing the girl she loves acting so happy. I know I am. I don't know what's going to happen after this. We're still in danger. We still don't have a way out. But that doesn't mean we can't enjoy our time together, all of us. I just wish I could shake the feeling that this is the last time we'll have this chance. We stay like that for a while, telling stories, making jokes, and most importantly, talking about our future. Whether it happens or not, talking about it puts us all at ease. We talk about sharing technology with Abigail, getting her and Morgan new wardrobes, where we're going on dates when we get back, and these moments it all feels real, like we're remembering moments that haven't happened yet. Eventually the sun begins to dip below the horizon. We have another huge meal, to Abigail's delight. Afterwards, Tara tells her even more stories as Morgan and I clean up after them. I'm not sure if the four of us are going to stay in one apartment for long when we get back, but I think I'd really enjoy being around Tara and Morgan. Not as much as I enjoy being around Abigail, of course, but enough enjoyment to make me want to stick around with them. At time, Abigail begins to yawn and blink wearily as Tara talks. She hasn't had a chance to sleep since she got her body back, so she's no doubt unprepared for the strength of the body's needs to rest. And when the sun finally sets, we all say our goodbyes and head to our rooms. I'm already looking forward to tomorrow. Let's go, girl Morgan. I close the door to Tara's room and lean against it to steady myself. I'm still trying to process everything that's happened. I have family, real family that doesn't want to hurt me. And I'm not just talking about Abigail. When I was watching the three of them talk and laugh together, I felt like I was home, like this is where I've always belonged.
Hey, you okay?
Tara's sitting on the bed in front of Morgan, worried.
Yeah, I'm okay. Sorry, just trying to wrap my head around all this.
I getcha. There's a lot to unpack. You can take your time with it. I guess that means now isn't really a good time to talk, huh?
What do you mean?
I wanted to talk to you about something, or ask you about something, I don't know. It can wait if you still want to work on getting your stuff sorted.
Is something wrong?
No, I mean, I don't think so. I've just been thinking about some stuff.
Like...
Tara takes a deep breath and scoots back on the bed. She curls her legs towards herself, taking in a surprisingly subdued posture.
It's... well... You know how Abby's been calling us a couple all day? Even though we told her we're not?
Yeah, she's not very good at taking hints.
I'm not sure if that's it. I think she's just, like, direct. Kinda like you. Runs in the family, I guess. I know we agreed that we were going to stay friends or whatever you'd call this until this is all over. I get that. But after seeing the two of them, I'm not sure if I feel like that anymore. We've still got a lot of shit left to deal with. We still don't have a plan, but I think that's okay.
She shrugs half-heartedly and looks down. I want to give her a hug, but I can't move.
Abby put a name on this thing we have when we couldn't, and maybe she's wrong, but I don't want her to be. I really love you, Morgan. I don't want to deny that. I want to be closer than just friends that love each other.
Don't.
The word leaves my mouth before I have a chance to think about it.
What?
Please don't ask.
I'm sorry. I thought...
It's not that I don't want to. That's why I'm asking you not to say it. Because I know I'll say yes if you do.
She looks up at me. I can practically hear the cogs turning in her head.
Why don't you want to say yes?
People get hurt when they get close to me. I don't even like having friends because of how guilty I feel when Evelyn gets in the way. I'm already so close to you. Closer than I've ever been to anyone. But if I put a label on it, a part of me just feels like it would put you in more danger.
Feels so stupid saying it out loud. It's just a word. Why am I so afraid of a word?
Besides, I've never had a girlfriend before. I don't know what it could mean for me. Or for you.
What do you mean? What about the one that taught you how to knit?
Oh no, how could I have forgotten about that lie? It was just so easy to say back then. It made me seem like I knew what I was doing. It made it easier to ignore what happened with those girls. Tara's understood everything about me, but I still don't want to tell her what I did with them. Tara's understood everything about me, but I still don't want to tell her what I did with them, or why I did it.
Hey, it's cool. I've had plenty of girls lie about having girlfriends before. It's just a thing people do. We can just forget about it. We're past lies now, right?
Her words stab at me like needles. It's not like she's trying to force this out of me. I could even tell myself that it isn't a lie. That it's just not telling her about something she's never asked about.
There's more to it than a simple lie.
Wait, what am I saying? What am I doing?
There are still things I haven't told you about me. About what I've done. Things that could make you change your mind.
Tara manages a weak smile. It's hard to be reassuring when you don't know what you're reassuring someone about.
If you don't want to date, that's okay. I get it. But nothing you can tell me is gonna change how I feel about you.
Oh my god, the background noise. Shut the fuck up. She sits forward again and passes a spot on the bed next to her. But right now I'd rather be miles away from her, not closer. I hate feeling like this. I've finally learned how to get close to people, and now I'm back to pushing her away.
Do you remember what I called myself the first time we talked to Jailadora?
A shell. But you know that's bullshit now, right? We're gonna make sure Evelyn can't get in your head anymore.
Evelyn isn't the only one that made me feel that way.
My throat feels dry. I need something to drink, but I don't know what'll happen if I stop. If this closes, I won't open again.
I didn't learn how to knit from an ex-girlfriend. I learned from Hannah. I had feelings for her. We were close. But she cut off all contact with me when I told her how I felt. Word travels fast in Eisenfeld. Within a week, everyone in the village knew I was gay.
Oh shit.
That's when bad things started happening to Hannah. She slipped on a patch of ice and broke her leg. A few days later, her dog died. The next week, she came down with the worst flu any of us had ever seen. I knew it was Evelyn's doing. But who was going to believe me? As far as they were concerned, all this happened because she rejected me. I'm pretty sure some of the older people in the village still think I'm a witch.
Clench my fists, sinking my nails as far into my palm as they'll go before my limbs freeze up. As far as they'll go until the icy hex within me takes over again.
Nobody talked to me for a month. You told me that you spoke to some girls our age back when you were doing interviews. Did you ask them about me?
Yeah, we did.
What did they say?
Nothing really bad or anything. One of them seemed closer to you than the other two, and her friend was kinda teasing her about it. Just typical stuff.
As if any of them have the right to mock each other. They're all the same.
I probably slept with her.
I wait for Tara's voice to voice her disbelief, but she doesn't say a word.
After Hannah got better, girls started coming by the store. They always had some kind of excuse. They'd start dropping hints. Talk about how they'd always been curious about what it was like to be with a girl. How they didn't have anywhere to be that day.
Still can't look at her. Any rational person would judge me for this. I know I've judged myself plenty.
They always left right after. Most of them wouldn't talk about it. They'd just go back to their normal lives. I guess some of them talked, though. Soon enough, I got a reputation.
Her baby.
I knew I was being used. I resigned myself to being a shell. So I let them use that shell.
I don't know when I started moving, but before I know it, I'm standing by the bed.
Evelyn never let me feel like this body belonged to me. She chose my clothes, she chose my style, she even chose what I do with my hair. It was her body, and she wanted it.
That shit. I can't keep standing. As much as I want to push away, I sit down next to Tara, looking at her face. I can't tell what she's thinking. My mind rushes with every worst case scenario as I make myself push onwards.
But things have been different with you. For the first time, sex started to mean something. Being open started to seem possible. Being myself started to seem possible. But all I know about myself is how easy it is for other people to use me. If I go out into the world and live for myself, I don't know what kind of person I'm going to become.
The shaking has started to subside, replaced by a painful knot in my gut. Almost there, I can make it.
What if I end up becoming someone you can't love? What if my shell is the only worthwhile part of me?
Without warning, Tara throws her arms around me and pulls me close. I wrap my arms around her waist without even thinking.
You're not a shell, Morgan. You're the furthest thing from that. Just because someone tried to make you something other than yourself, or because people took advantage of you, that can't destroy the real you. That you has always been there. And I know it a lot better than you might think.
She nuzzles my neck and I can feel the dampness of her cheeks. She's crying.
You've got passion, you've got personality, you've got conviction, you've got so much awesome stuff in you that I couldn't name it all if you gave me a whole week. All of that is the real you. And that's the girl I'm in love with. The girl I want to be with no matter what. And I want to put a name on it so you know that'll never change.
We pull apart and she wipes tears from my eyes.
I don't really know a non-cheesy way to put it, so... will you be my girlfriend?
If you're okay with everything I've done, with everything I still have to do, then how could I say no?
Tara instantly let out a long wheeze and clutches her hand to her chest. Is she okay?
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Just give me a minute. I feel like my body's trying to overcome being allergic to commitment right now.
I awkwardly pat her on the shoulder. It's obvious that neither of us have any idea what you're supposed to do in a situation like this. Tara grabbed me by the waist and gently led us over to the bed. Pressed my forehead against hers and for once allowed myself to be comforted. She stroked my hair. Time slows to a standstill. We kiss. This could be our last night together, but in a way it's our first night together too. And I'm going to make the most of it. I held Tara close in my arms. She nestles close to me. The sun is long gone, but the moon is bright enough to illuminate my smile. I'm smiling too. I close my eyes and let myself relax. I think I might actually sleep well tonight. But as always, luck isn't on my side.
Hey,
What?
do you hear that?
I strain my ears and see if I can sense anything out of the ordinary. But apart from the usual sounds of the forest, it's silent.
I can't hear anything. Maybe you dreamed it?
Unless this is a dream, it's definitely real. I can hear it right now, I swear.
I sit up in bed and look over at her. She's already most of the way up, head swaying, as she looks for the source of whatever she's hearing.
Well, what does it sound like?
Kinda like,
She makes a strange whooshing noise and twirls her arms around. I don't see how arm movements are part of the sound, but I doubt I'd understand what she's talking about no matter how she put it. She looks back at me for confirmation, but all I can do is shrug. In response, she jumps out of bed and starts pulling her clothes on.
I'm gonna go see what it is. You coming?
Whether or not the sound is real, I'm not about to let her go off on her own. I promised I'd protect her, and that includes protecting her from mysterious noises.
Right behind you.
Besides, as powerful as Maddie is, there's still a chance Evelyn could try something. I follow her out of bed and pull on my shoes. She gives me a quick grin in response, excited to have me along for the ride again. Tara bolts out of the door as I finish tying my laces. A second later, I hear her banging on the door to Maddie and Abigail's room.
Mads! Are you guys making that noise?
Pull on my sweater and walk into the hall in time to see Maddie slowly open the door of her room, covering herself with a blanket.
Oh, Tara. It's nearly 2 in the morning. Whenever this is, can it wait till morning?
I bet you it's fucking Evelyn. Of course it'll be fucking Evelyn. What's this
Come
shit?
on, not you too. I thought it was coming from your room.
Abigail's voice calls out from the room, along with the rustling of sheets.
What was coming from our room?
Are you kidding me?
She turns and storms away from the door, moving out into the kitchen. I nod apologetically at Maddie before following Tara.
Babe, come on. Let's just go back to bed. I'm sure that whatever it is can wait until morning.
It keeps getting louder, though. What if it's something dangerous? Maybe Evelyn has her own evil forest spirit and she's riding it towards the cabin or something.
Kaiju battle? There's a pang in my heart. It's cold and familiar. If the sound is that loud, but none of us can hear it, maybe it's only meant for her to hear. Try to figure out how to get her back to bed. Maddie and Abigail join me in the hallway.
So, what's she doing this time?
She woke up hearing some kind of whooshing noise that I couldn't hear. I thought she'd just imagined it, but she can still hear it.
Maddie rubs her chin, puzzled. Abigail looks out at Tara with a worried expression. Can't shake the unsettling feeling in my chest either.
This isn't the first time something like this has happened, so I'd be inclined to dismiss it. But with everything else that's happened this month...
Before she can finish her sentence, Tara turns towards the door.
There! It's right outside!
Abigail realizes it first. She steps towards Tara, reaching out her hand.
Tara, don't! What if it's...
Oh no, oh no, 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 no. I'm an idiot, why didn't I figure it out sooner?
Tara, stay away from the door!
She doesn't look back as she takes another step towards the door. I will myself to start moving again.
Now you guys are actually gonna be able to see what I'm talking about. You're gonna feel so dumb for doubting me.
Tara, for fuck's sake. I'm running towards her, but it's too late. She grabs the handle and throws the door open.
Wait, what?
There's nothing outside. Maybe that sight will be enough to bring her back to her senses.
The sound's gone. It was right there.
She turns back to look at me. I'm only a couple steps away and I can see the expression in her face. She's terrified.
Babe, what?
A flash of light fills the room. I stop dead in my tracks as I raise my arm to cover my eyes.
Tara!
The light dissipates and my eyes slowly readjust. In the haze, my fears are confirmed. She's gone. Tara's gone. That fucking bitch, of course. I'm frozen. I can't process what's happening. I'm not sure how long the tears start rolling down my face before I notice them. Maddie and Abigail look at me in silence. Then I start screaming. I never made a sound like this. It's an angry roar that fills the cabin.
No! Morgan,
It was supposed to be me!
It happens again. It's happening again, just like everyone before her. I love her, and now, because of me, I collapse to the ground.
Not her. Please.
Hot tears fall down my cheeks to the floor below. I feel a pair of arms wrap around me and a voice in my ear.
Morgan, it's okay. It'll be okay.
I slowly turn towards her. She and Maddie both stand close to me. I can see how worried they are, for Tara and for me. Maddie puts her hand on my shoulder. I flinch, but I don't pull away.
She's still alive. I can feel it. Whatever just happened didn't kill her, but it did move her. I can't figure out where yet, but I can sense her. Somehow.
You're sure?
I'm sure. We can find her.
I think I know where she might be.
Where?
If it was Evelyn who took her, she most likely brought her to the church. That's where she performed the ritual to...
Oh shit. She trails off, but I know what she's about to say. The transfer ritual. She wants Tara's body.
But why her? That's what she was raising me for. Why would she take her?
I'm not sure, but I've got a feeling there's only one way to find out. I'd hoped we'd have enough time to come up with an actual plan before we had to face her. But we can't just let her have Tara.
I'm already heading for the door. Maddie and Abigail follow close behind.
We can figure something out on the way. Let's go.
We'll think of something. We have to. This time is going to be different. I'm not going to let Evelyn win again. I'm getting Tara back, no matter the cost. And this time, I'm going to make sure Evelyn never hurts anyone again. For better or for worse. This is the end. Ooh. Chapter 6, big finale, let's fucking go. Tara's perspective, oh shit. I don't even have time to be disorientated before I hit the stone ground hard. I struggle to pick myself up and stand before I can footsteps approach. Evelyn, of course. and I'm hauled to my feet. She does it with one hand. She's way stronger than she looks.
Hello, Tara.
This bitch. This bitch in particular. As expected, we're in the church. She drags me over and throws me onto the altar. Try to resist, but my limbs won't move.
Oh, hey! Thanks for the ride.
Witty as ever, Tara. I'm scared. More scared than I've ever been in my whole life, but I don't want her to have the satisfaction of knowing it. She walks away out of sight, though I can still hear her close by.
They're gonna come for me, you know. We figured out your whole plan. They're probably already on their way.
Let them. I'll kill them too.
Her tone is casually disinterested. She can't even give me the courtesy of pretending she cares. I wish I could move my head to see her, but I can't. I can't move any part of me other than my mouth.
It's always such a nice feeling to return here. Such a sense of renewal and energy. Although, I imagine right now, you don't feel the same way.
I don't know. I'm digging the ambience.
I'm about to die and I'm making jokes. I mean, what else am I supposed to do? We had a plan, one with a good chance of working. I know that Mads and the rest won't abandon me. They'll just switch it up a little, same as if she had taken Morgan like we expected. Honestly, it's probably better for everyone that Morgan's the one who's still free right now. He's less likely to screw something up than I am. Still, it's all I can. It's all I can do to suppress the little voice inside me, telling me I'm to be afraid, to acknowledge that I'm going to die, or worse.
Really? You should be thanking me.
For what? I must have missed it.
Because by dying here, you've given poor Morgan another chance. If she runs away now, I have no more need of her. I'll let her live. Of course, if she turns up here with any delusions of grandeur, she'll die along with the rest of them.
A chill runs down my spine. Because I know beyond a shadow of a doubt there's no way she won't come for me. That she won't run away. Still, the way that Evelyn can talk so cruelly about her own daughter makes it hard to even for even me to keep up my attitude.
You really don't feel anything, do you? You raised her, you lived with her, and even after all that...
Finally, you get something right. I don't feel anything for her. You got something wrong, too.
Evelyn halts and then stalks closer to the altar, close enough that I can see her wildly dilated pupils, the sharp razor points of her fangs.
I didn't raise her. I cultivated her. From the minute she was born, I prepped her for this fate, to be a worthy vessel. How could I have known that a much more useful one would arrive at my doorstep? Just days away from my ascension.
As she takes a step back, letting the moonlight fall across her, she arches her back like a cat, enjoying it. She raises an arm, and I'm lifted into the air like a circus performer suspended from nothing. My arms are snapped to my side. I struggle as far as I can, but I still can't move at all. I can't even flail around. Still, her words pique my curiosity, and I'm dying to know what she meant. Since I might be dying anyway, I may as well ask.
More useful how?
She grins.
Because this night is very, very special. For years, centuries even, I've whiled away my time here in Eisenfeld. It's amused me to no end. But I've grown bored of it. I desire to see more of the world. And while any human body would do, I suppose, there's merit in one such as yourself. One with influence and fame.
Oh shit. I don't even know the word. I don't even know the words to give how disgusted I feel. It's not enough for her to steal my body. She also wants to pretend to be me. I think the horror I must show on my face because she smirks. As she does so, her skin starts to shimmer and shake like there's light just underneath it. I found thread of ethereal matter, like the spell that she used to bring me here, ekes into existence. It stretches between her hand and my chest. The second it comes into contact with me, I feel like all the strength is sapped out of me, like I'm being sedated. I hope I'm only passing out and not dying. I'm not sure if the two feel different. It would suck extra hard if I was dying though, because then my last sight would be Evelyn sneering cruelly. Before it all goes black, she manages to get in one fatal plunge.
What an ironic fate for you, don't you think? You came out here seeking magic, and now you found it.
Fuck this bitch and everything she stands for. The girls better absolutely obliterate her ass, I swear to god. We're up and ready to go nearly the instant the tower disappears. It's a shock, of course, but not one that messes up all our plans. I walk to the front door, which is open and hanging in the wind.
I'm going to fucking kill her if she hurts Tara.
Let's fucking go, Morgan. Let's go.
Tara will be fine. She's tough. Besides, we've got a plan, right?
After a long moment, I nod.
Right.
Mandy turns back to face Abigail, who's half hidden by the bedroom door.
Are you sure you want to go, sweetheart? You can stay here.
Of course not. There's no way you're doing this alone. I'm just a little nervous, that's all.
Me too. I'm a lot nervous, actually. We'll be fine, though.
As she keeps saying that, it'll be true, right? I wish you could believe it. I wonder if Maddie even does. Scoop up Geladora and wait outside. We need to leave now, but I force myself not to rush them along. A minute later, they follow me outside. Pardon me. They run together, passing familiar scenery. We hurry into the woods. Despite some wind and fog, the night is relatively clear.
Are you sure you don't want me to just take you to the church? I could have us there in a second.
I know, but she can't know about your powers yet. If we arrive too fast, then Evelyn will know something's up.
I mean, I think we can gather from the get-up, but it doesn't matter. It would be nice to take the easy way like that, but we can't do anything rashly. Not if it might hurt Tara in the long run.
Right.
We have to wait until her soul is out of its body. That's when we'll send the signal.
Do you know how long that'll last? Like, how long it'll be exposed?
I have no idea. I hope it won't be instant.
If it is, there is no fairy time.
You hope?
I nod. I wish I'd do more, I really do, but it's magic, and magic is really predictable. It's the only thing that I can say with confidence about it. I'm not sure what more I should say. This is where we'll all have to part. Even though I'm making the rest of the journey on foot, Maddie and Abigail will need to use magic to get to the fairy clearing. Before we do, though, there's one last thing I need to say.
Maddie? I know there isn't really time, but I need to say this, since I might not get another chance to.
Geladora nuzzles my neck reassuringly.
I'm sorry. That doesn't even come close to describing it, but it's all that I can say. For bringing you out here, getting you involved in all of this. I never imagined any of it would turn out this way. So if you still hate me, I understand. I just wanted you to know.
Feels good to have the words out there. I spent so much time apologizing these past few weeks, but it's still a bit of relief every time. Don't you dare steal all my pillows and blankets. I need them especially because we're getting near the ending. Welcome, by the way.
Morgan. Well, first of all, I accept your apology. But I promise, I never hated you.
Thanks for the follow. And no, they're mine.
It was my fault for acting like such a bitch when we first got here. And as for everything else, well, some of it might have been Tara's fault, but a lot of it was my fault too. So, let's get this over with. We'll save Tara, take care of Evelyn, and then we'll all go home.
Yeah, let's destroy this bitch.
Simple, right?
I just nod again. I'm not sure if I can talk right now, not without crying, and I hate crying. I wish it were that simple. I hope it will be that simple. But it really is. I swallowed a lump in my throat. I have to say something. Okay. Hold on. I am saving right here. Because this is the big decision that decides our ending. Right. Okay, I just cannot. I already know the right answer, so should I go for each ending, or will I just go right to the good ending? Hmm. I'll just do the good ending, and if I want to go back and see the other two endings, I'll do it off stream on my own time. You're right.
You're right. It's simple.
I take a deep breath, clear my head as best I can. Been waiting my entire life for this. My entire bloodline has led me to this point. Chance to end all the pain I've endured, to save someone I love, to make sure the countless people who carried this burden before me will be avenged, and to make sure that no one else will get hurt. How it goes from here isn't just up to me, it's up to all of us. Around us, the wind quickens and grows in intensity. The bright, full moon looms high over us. One last time I nod at Maddie and Abigail.
Okay, let's go.
Let's fucking go. We're ending this shit. This is hardly a plan. It's really more than an idea. I relies far too much on luck and everything going our way. But it's all we have. The furious wind tells me that I'm in the right place, as if there were any doubt. When I approach the doors to the church, they blast open. I've been expected. I don't waste any time, I rush in. Tara floats in midair, suspended by invisible magic. She lies prone, with her arms and legs apparently locked in place. She looks dead. A colourful cloud floats above her, with a long tail spiralling back towards her body. I don't need to be told, I know it's her soul. It thrashes around as a cloud, as much as a cloud can, but it is seemingly locked out. Below, Evelyn stands, hunched with her back to me. A trail of malevolent white magic tethers her to Tara. Evelyn's appearance has changed drastically, becoming more mysterious, becoming more monstrous. Her body begins to take on an icy quality, while her face becomes disfigured, her hair is an icy white. Moonlight pours through the windows behind them, piercing Tara and illuminating Evelyn. When she hears me enter, she stands up straight, her back cracks obscenely. She's disgusting.
Morgan. You came.
Fuck you. Her voice isn't her voice isn't the voice I know. It's raspy and inhuman. It echoes around the church louder than it should be, dragging itself from corner to corner.
I knew you would. You always do.
Her body spasms and twitches as if electrified. Still, her voice remains steady and flat.
Of course I came. You're not taking Tara. You're not taking anyone else ever again.
She laughs, but it sounds like a choke. There's no humor in it. It's inhuman.
Do you know how many times I've heard that before? Countless. And yet, here we are. Predictable. You humans always are. Curiously so. You have all this freedom, but you don't know how to use it. Pity, pity, pity. Pity. Soon I'll have taken the body of your friend, and you will be dead. And I will be far, far gone. You see, I've grown tired of playing pretend out here in the woods. I've decided it's time for something new. And Tara is going to give that to me.
You'll still be a pretender.
Evelyn seems to notice Sheladora for the first time, and she licks her bloody lips.
You. So, you're here too. Fitting.
Evelyn's gaze narrows, and her eyes widen once again. She points imperiously at Gelidora and I. The stone walls of the church crumble in response.
I can tell. You're still no queen. No more than that brat who stands beside you. You're still powerless. Tell me.
A brick detaches itself from the ceiling, plummeting down straight towards us. I dart out of the way, barely managing to avoid it. Geladora yells as I squeeze her harder than intended.
You're just as pitiful as she is. What did you think you could do? How did you think you had any chance? Or is it just human nature to try? Even if you're doomed to fail.
The moon is at its peak, or close to it. If she waits much longer, she won't be able to complete the ritual, and she'll have done our job for us. Maybe she knows this, because she turns away from us once again. I have to stop her. I push my legs forward, but some invisible force pushes back, like moving through quicksand. I can barely inch forward. Something's protecting her. Inch by inch, I have to keep moving. A pulsing ball of magic starts to form in front of Evelyn. She focuses intently on it. The light from the moon falls directly on her. Her skin reacts to it, bubbling and boiling like hot wax. It must be agonizing, but she doesn't react. Maybe she's beyond pain. Geladora leaps out of my arms, making her own way beside me. Her breathing is ragged and laboured. Neither of us waste energy on more words. I don't know what I'll do when I reach it. I don't know what I'll do if I reach Evelyn. I just know that I can't sit still. The coalescing ball of magic energy continues to grow and grow, taking on a sinister black hue, the colour of a moonless night, the colour of an empty void. They start to spin, crackle and shimmer. That's when I realize this isn't for the soul transfer. It's too strong, too unstable. Before Morgan can finish speaking, a tendril of malevolent energy shoots straight out towards her. It moves too fast for me to react. It pierces me like an arrow. Godless, fiery pain burns through my veins. My whole body stiffens, refusing to move. I can't even cry out. Each individual atom of my body feels like it's been tortured, like a burning needle is being driven through them. I want to scream. I want some sort of release, but I'm not even granted that mercy. Behind the pain, there's a rising, mounting horror. I'm going to die here after all, aren't I? My vision starts to go black. I welcome oblivion. At least then I won't have to hurt anyone. I won't have to hurt anymore. I try to move my eyes to fixate on Tara. If I'm going to die, I at least want my last sight to be of her, even like this. I can't even manage that. All I can see is Evelyn. She says something, her lips moving, but I'm deaf to it. All I can hear is a resonating ringing sound in my ears, like some perverse toll bell. Then Evelyn's eyes go wider than before. The air behind her shimmers and shakes, and just like her magic spell, empty space tears itself open, and she's sucked backwards like a ragdoll. In an instant, the magic and pain is gone, leaving behind no trace. I fall forward, my momentum having locked in place without me. And just ahead, Tara crashes to the ground limply. I stagger to my feet, not trusting my body to support me, but it does. The complete absence of pain is a shock in its own right. I feel like I should be experiencing the after effects, but I'm not. All this lingers is the memory. Geladora scurries over to me.
Morgan, are you alright?
I think so. I feel fine, actually. What happened to Evelyn?
She licks the back of her paw for a second, then stops.
I'm afraid that I panicked and I sent the signal to Madison. I tried to help you, but I couldn't. My own power is still weak. Not nearly enough to match Evelyn's.
There's no changing it now. None of this matters if Maddie isn't able to stop Evelyn. If it was going to be unlikely to begin with. It was going to be unlikely to begin with. It looks like we're in a hard fight. Geladora must know as much too. She pads back and forth, her tail twitching in agitation. Fervor. I stroke her fur.
Still, thank you. Can you help me check on Tara?
Of course.
We rush over to where Tara lies prone on the cold floor. Her soul is nowhere to be seen, which I hope means it returned to her body. I cradle her as tenderly as I can, checking for a sign of a pulse or breath. I gently prop her up against my chest, stroking her hair.
Please be okay. Please.
2 tears dripped down my face, landing on hers. I didn't realize I was crying. Jirodora lingers beside us, nuzzling her face against Tara's cheek.
She's alive. I can feel that much.
Is she okay though?
I don't think she should experience any lasting effects from the magic. It's the fall to the ground that worries me more.
That's true. She fell from pretty high up, into a stone floor. I wiped away the tears that fell on her, steeling myself to prevent more. Traced my finger along the curve of her jaw, down to her lips. They pressed together, just a bit to kiss my finger.
Tara! Tara, can you hear me?
I'm afraid to let hope spring into my heart again. Her lips moved, just barely.
I can't hear you.
There's a soft, blessedly warm gust of air against my face as she sighs and forces her eyes open.
I said, I'm dumb as bricks, babe. It'll take more than head trauma to hurt me.
Let's go! I pull her up and into a hug, and she pats my back.
You're okay? You're sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I wipe my eyes as we part to face each other once again.
I was so scared.
I wasn't. I knew you'd save me.
I don't deserve someone like her.
Is there any way we can get to Mads? She might need our help.
We both turn to face Geladora.
I can take us there, but I don't know how much use I'll be once we arrive.
Tara moves to question, but I place a hand lightly on her arm. Geladora barely holding it on as is, and her guilt, her inability to do more is palpable. It's all up to Maddie.
Let's go. There isn't much time.
I help Tara to her feet, and she immediately winces, hissing in pain.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. Guess I just hurt my ankle in the fall.
She's able to stand on her own, giving me a shaky smile. I don't like it, but there's nothing I can do right now. At least it's only her foot and not her head or back. With a graceful jump, Geladora hops onto my arm once again. I stand next to Tara, who leans against me for support. With one hand, I support the cat. With my other, I take Tara's other hand in my own. Then I nod.
We're ready.
Alright, it's Maddie time. Kick her ass, girl. My heart pounds as Abigail and I arrive in the Fairy Grove. This place has been the setting for most of my favourite memories here in the forest. I could have never guessed that it would be where everything ends. I can feel the fairies, my subjects, watching from close by. They don't show themselves, but their presence are like tiny little pressure points on my consciousness. They're just as tense as I am. Closing my eyes, I reach out to the forest, asking for its aid. It still hurts, badly. It laments the terrible pain that it suffered. I promise that it'll be okay. It's my duty as queen to ensure this. I hold the forest in my heart and promise to rid it of the moonsick one. Abigail and I walk to the water's edge. Nervousness tears at my stomach. Geladora's signal could come at any time. I have to be ready. High above, the moon offers its light to us. The whole lake is dyed in a silver glow, shimmering and refracting and amplifying. Moonlight caresses my face like a lover, warm and invigorating. And I indulge in it, letting it sink in through my skin, my roots, my forest. Every little second could be crucial.
How do you feel?
She holds my hand loosely in hers.
Nervous. In a way I've never felt before. Nothing else in my life has ever been this important. There's never been life or death consequences like this. What if I screw up?
I expect to see fear reflect in Abigail's face as well. When I turn to her, she looks serene and unbothered.
I have complete faith in you, Madison.
The fairies said that not just anyone could be queen, but that you could. They saw something in you too. We're all putting our trust in you. The whole forest is, and our friends too. We wouldn't do that if we didn't believe in you.
I wish I could use a magic spell to boost my confidence. For all the powers that I hold right now, it sure feels insignificant. So far, everything has come naturally. Moving through the woods or interacting with its denizens is easy. But to use my magic against another being, that's something else entirely. But I can't let that kind of attitude overwhelm me. Can't be defeated before it even starts. Abigail's right. Everyone is counting on me. I can't let them down.
Thank you
For what?
for believing in me.
She leans forward and kisses my cheek.
Always.
Always. That word has meant a lot of different things to me lately. My concept of forever keeps shifting and changing. Even now I'm not entirely sure what it means. I suppose that after tonight I will.
You know, when we were here before, there were times that I wished it could last forever. Where it was peaceful and just the two of us. But now, more than anything, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready for us to make new memories. Together.
Nothing would make me happier. When you came into my life, I thought that it would be fleeting, like a nice dream that I might someday look back upon and smile. I didn't dare imagine nor hope for anything more. But now, well, perhaps you've made an optimist out of me after all.
I kiss her forehead, then her nose, then her lips.
I love you. More than anything.
I love you too, more than anything.
That's so cute. Together we face forward, and that's when I feel it. A cold flush of foreign fear. A stab through my heart at the idyllic scenery. I recognize the origin immediately. Gelidora's panic signal. I step away from Abigail, clearing a space. I force myself to breathe evenly as I reach within myself, mentally searching for the magic. I call upon the power within me. Unlike before, when it blossomed and flourished at my request, now it lies dormant and afraid. I understand, I'm afraid too, but there's no time to be afraid. Using my authority as Fairy Queen, I coax the magic forth. The church's presence aches like an infection, and I promise the forest that I'll help heal it. The magic ripples through the woods. It's set upon the church, finding Evelyn easily. I can't see her in my mind's eye, but I can feel her hatred and scorn and fear. So I'm not the only one who's afraid then. That's more reassuring than anything else. If she detects the magic that's coming for her, then I can't tell. At my will, the tendrils of magic wrap around her like vines. Then I stick my hand out, my physical, actual hand, and I pull. The result is immediate. Just above the surface of the lake, a ripple disturbs the air as a massive rift opens up. Within seconds, Evelyn falls forward through it, collapsing in a heap up to the shore. It's wrong though. She's still in her regular body. It's not just her vulnerable soul like it should be. Take a fearful step back. Why did Gelidora send the signal early? My blood runs cold. What if something happened to her and Morgan? What if she wasn't too early? What if I was too late? Try to rally my thoughts and concentrate on what to do. She quickly picks herself up, wild eyes casting back and forth. Her appearance is monstrous. It finally fit her personality. Her gaze falls upon me and her lips curl in hatred or disgust.
So, it's you. I see that even death didn't want you. And now here you are, stinking of snow and pine, stinking of them. You wear their clothes, you bear their crown, but you are not one of them.
She lumbers forward, her steps seem pained. She either dazed from being pulled here, or from the effects of her own spell. I can't count on that to last.
You're right. I'm not. Just like you'll never be a human.
I need to buy myself time while I try to think.
Human? Ah, is that what you think I want? I will be more than human.
A gust of wind stirs up, lately her calling. The trees shake and I plant my feet firmly to keep from losing my balance. I feel the barrier and my mind freeze and break away. She's gone. As the world spins around me and the moon shines down on the lake. I search for her presence with my mind, but I can't find her, like a fish that slipped off the line. I need to calm down. My heart races as my head begins to ache and throb.
You're so fragile, so easily damaged, so easily broken.
The biting wind intensifies, threatening to sweep my crown away. Abigail shields herself with one arm. Evelyn, however, remains unaffected.
What's wrong, little child? Why not make this easy on yourself? I can make it painless for you this time.
Reality and illusion blur and bend, and the fabric of my vision tears. She takes another step forward, and my mind, shattering what little focus I had. She's almost close enough that if she lunged forward, she could grab me by the throat. Instead, Evelyn scratches at her own neck, her nails drawing blood, but she doesn't seem to notice. High in the sky, the moon watches over us, indifferent. I can feel its light sustaining me, the same as it bolsters her. She turns to look at it, shivering.
You know why you were the first to go. Because you were the easiest. All alone, off in the woods. Tragic accidents happen all the time out there. Really, it's my daughter you have to blame for all this. It's a shame you won't get another chance.
I try to find her again with the magic, but I can't. It's like she isn't even there. Where her consciousness should exist, there's nothing but a gaping hole. A void that feels familiar somehow. Her eyes glow red as she faces me again.
Looking for me.
My consciousness is immediately assaulted. My head pounds as I feel Evelyn enter it like a intrusive thought. With every push and pull, she rips at my soul. My magic quakes under her power, flickering and fearful. I try to reach out and grab it, pull my own consciousness and strength into me, but every time I get close, it's yanked away. Unrelenting, overwhelmed. Die, die, die! It echoes and reverberates in my skull. I choke, momentarily forgetting how to breathe. Every single thought, every single idea snatched and destroyed. I can't even see anymore.
I knew it. Your gifts are wasted on you. Queenship is wasted on you. What good is power if you don't know how to use it? All of you are the same.
A searing pain in my head forces me to my knees.
Your friends couldn't save you then, just as you can't save them now.
An unseen force shoves my head upwards, making me look at Evelyn. A peculiar ringing blocks out all other sounds except for her words. I'm deaf to the wind, to the forest, to Abigail.
See what you've done, and despair.
She gestures imperiously towards the empty space between us. Just like the portal I used to bring her here, another hole in space rends itself open. Through it I can see a glimpse of the murky, stained glass windows of the church. Then it upends, unceremoniously spilling out my friends. Or at least their bodies. Nausea hits me at the sight. Tara's there, her body limp and broken, arms and legs splayed at an obscene angle. Blood trickles from her mouth, beneath her open, sightless eyes. Morgan is also there in a heap, though her body isn't as mangled as Tara's. A grisly wound stretches from her ear, across her face, down her neck. Blood stains the sand beneath her. Even Gelidora lies there, motionless. Though her back is turned to me, a small puddle of water forms underneath her, spreading as she starts to melt. I scream. I want to run towards them or clutch at my heart, but I'm pinned in place. How? What went wrong? Was this why the signal came too early? I shouldn't have left them alone. I should have gone with them. This is my fault, isn't it? Evelyn's attack on my mind ceases in order to let me truly comprehend the horrors before me. As much as I fight it, my heart gives way to what Evelyn asked of me. I despair. Our feet touch solid ground and Tara immediately loses her balance. I grab her shoulder to keep her from falling. Gelidora pants heavily, the magic taking a heavy toll on her. Maddie, Abigail, and Evelyn are on the far side of the lake. Only Abigail seems to notice us. Even from a distance, the terror on her face is clear.
Come on, they need our help.
Tara takes one step forward, then falls to the ground, clutching her ankle.
Shit.
Just then, Maddie screams in pain or in horror, a sick feeling in my stomach. All three of us turn to look, but there's nothing new to be seen. Fuck. Just when I think Evelyn can't get any worse. And from experience, that doesn't mean that doesn't mean she isn't in pain. Abigail is tugging on her arm, but Maddie doesn't react at all. She must be beyond even feeling it. And just behind Evelyn, a similar-looking ball of sinister light is forming, sparkling in the moonlight. Its tendrils jolt and jag with a familiar hunger. Maddie doesn't even know. Evelyn turns back and looks at us, a sadistic grin on her face. Tendril magic shifts and a feeling of impending doom fills my lungs. Look back at Tara, who scowls at her foot as she tries to move. There's no way she'll be able to. I don't have to act. I don't have long to act. I turn to run, to confront Evelyn myself. I don't know what else to do, everything's gone wrong. All that matters to me at this point is that Maddie and Tara get out of here. If I have to die for that to happen, then so be it. I hesitate just slightly. My legs waver as I try to take a step forward. It's enough for Tara to grab my arm, grimacing through the pain.
Where are you going?
To stop her.
Tara's grip tightens.
Not without me, you aren't.
Tara, you can't.
Neither can you. I'm not letting you throw yourself away. Not again.
Something soft paws on my leg, and I look down to see Gelladora staring up at me.
Both of you.
As sweet as they are, there isn't any time for sentimentality. Every second we spend is a second wasted.
Morgan, the moonlight.
I glance up at the sky, don't notice anything different. The moon shines down on both Maddie and Evelyn, surely invigorating them both. However, it's obvious from the situation that Evelyn is better at using it.
What about it?
It makes magic stronger. With enough of it, and our magic, we can stop her.
Whose magic? Yours and Maddie's?
Her eyes glisten in the moonlight as she stares up at me.
No, Morgan. Mine and yours.
Oh shit.
What?
I can't keep the exasperation out of my voice. We don't have time for her to mess around. Gelladora nimbly climbs up my legs and torso, my heavy sweater protecting me from the pain of her claws. She perches on my shoulder.
Love is its own form of magic. It makes the impossible possible.
We're really out here about to kill a shape-shifting demon with the power of love.
And I know you have plenty of that.
I turn to face Tara, who's been listening to every word. Despite it all, she gives me an encouraging smile.
I don't know anything about magic, and I'm still figuring this love thing out. But I know I believe in you, Morgan. Go kick her ass!
I breathe in deeply. I could try to stop her myself. Even if I had to die for it, I would. What Gelladora said sounds crazy, but everything about this is crazy. And I don't want to die.
Okay.
I'm putting all my trust in Gelladora and in Tara. Just like I know they're putting their trust in me. I won't let them down. With one arm I help keep Gelladora in place, and as fast as I can I run, heading straight for Maddie and Evelyn.
Now do you understand? Everything that you've done still wasn't enough. Even cheating death itself.
Fuck you, Evelyn. I don't think I've ever hated an antagonist more.
Now, join them.
Barely on the periphery of my awareness, I can see magical energy coalescing behind her, the spell that intended to end my life. I need to react, I need to move out of the way or do something. But I can't, I'm frozen. I can't tear my gaze away from the sight of Morgan and Tara. I couldn't protect them either, I couldn't save them. Maybe I deserve this too. I wasted the second chance I was given. Another presence cuts through the haze of my mind, giving me a sudden spark of clarity.
Madison!
She must have been calling my name for a while.
Madison! It isn't real! You aren't alone!
Her words cut through my despair like a hero's sword. I lock eyes of her and I welcome her into my own head. She's so vibrant, so present that she forces Evelyn out. Everything that I was feeling just moments before, all the fear and horror is swept away and is replaced with only one thing: love. She helps make me myself again. Time itself has stopped, or rather, it doesn't exist here. Right now, we're the only two people in the universe. I'm aware that this is only a vision and not reality, yet somehow it's more than that. Perhaps it's a different kind of magic. We're surrounded by light. Stars flicker, watching us to see what will happen next. I witness both myself and Abigail, but it's not just the versions of ourselves that are here and now. Rather, it's our future together. The two of us happily laughing, smiling, growing old. It takes me only an instant to understand. She's the one imagining it, sharing this with me, the same way that the fairies did. This isn't just a wish or a possibility. It's a promise. Both in my mind and in the real world, I take her hand. I don't worry about Evelyn, because in my heart, I know that we've already won. I look Abigail in the eyes and I say just two words.
I do.
I focus on the feeling of her hand against mine and the knowledge that she's with me. I steadied my breathing and faced back towards the scene that Evelyn conjured. Only now do I notice the imperfections there. Morgan's sweater is the wrong colour, Tara's hair clips are the wrong shape. Even the marking on Geladora's fur are different.
You liar!
I should have known. They were just more illusions. It's always illusions of her. I almost fell for the same trick twice. But it won't happen again. Just a moment. Before my eyes, the fake images flicker and then dissipate, vanishing entirely. For the first time, Evelyn takes a step backwards, shaken by my resolve. The spell she'd been charging collapses into nothingness. She shudders yet again, harder than before. She shakes so hard that it looks like she might fall apart. But she doesn't, and then she faces me, with still murder in her eyes. Evelyn takes a decisive step forward and outstretches her hand towards me. She opens her mouth, baring rows and rows of teeth at me, and I feel Abigail pressed against my side, and the vision disappears. Just then I spot Morgan running towards us, Geladora in her arms. The real Morgan with the real Geladora. As they approach, I feel Geladora's thoughts collide with my own. She sends me an apology for the signal, conveying in an instant everything that had happened. Then she sends me a request along with 2 words. I'm ready.
Maddie! The lake!
Even Evelyn turns around to see what Morgan's talking about. Then, without warning, Morgan turns and dashes into the pond, with Geladora, still in her arms, submerging them both in the water as they vanish from sight. Tara skids to a stop, watching the spot where they disappeared. As the shimmering surface of this pond scatters moonlight. I understand. What I hope is the last time I drop the magic the fairies have entrusted me with. I coax it out of every nook and cranny of the forest. From the frozen ground under our feet to the highest reaches of the tallest trees. I implore the forest to help me. Within an instant I can feel its response. From the fairies, hidden just out of sight. From the forest spirit waiting forlornly in the grove. From Alma's mother, her child taken from her unfairly. From Morgan and Geladora putting their fate in my hands. From the very moon itself. I move with the easy confidence of doing something that I've known I was born to do. All of my short time as the Fairy Queen has been building up to this moment. I step forward, bolstering with energy, and no longer afraid. I feel out the gaping hole where Evelyn's mind should be. The black veil remainder of the existence she forsook, and the lives that she stole. I find her like a roach, skittering and afraid, and I bind her. I'm sure that it sears her like fire. She shudders and shivers and quakes in the moonlight. Moon sickness. After that, I let go. I release it all of the magic and the power that has been given to me. I let it flow out of my fingertips on its way back to its rightful owner. I can see the arc of magic as it descends into the lake. I know Geladora is waiting for it. Then, as the last visage of it leaves my body, the vision of it disappears, and the warmth of the moonlight vanishes, leaving me cold. The thousands of voices in consciousness quiet, and then go still, leaving me all alone in my own head once more. My dress returns to its proper form, as just a jacket, and the flowers wither and shrivel away into non-existence, not death. The crown of my head crumbles to dust, brushing past my ears before it's blown away. At the same time, Morgan resurfaces, and swims to the shore, where Tara is waiting for her. The moonlight is endlessly refracting through the water, where it shimmers and sparkles beneath the surface. I can see her. Geladora crests back through the surface, true form restored as she accepts the mantle of Fairy Queen once again. Geladora's true form as a Fairy Queen is a beautiful woman, garbed in an ornate white and blue dress with snowflake adornment. A shining dress, the colour of fresh-born snow, adorns her, glittering as bright as the stars overhead. Oh my god, she's adorable! Oh, look at her. Water streaming down her in little rivulets, sun turning to ice or frost on the way. She's breathtaking. My dress was pretty, but it didn't suit me nearly the same way the role of Fairy Queen seems to suit her. Even Evelyn is speechless. Gelladora closes her eyes for just a moment. Her breathing slows almost imperceptibly, but just enough that I involuntarily step backwards. Her movements mirror the ones I performed just moments ago. Gelladora's stance is more experienced, more grateful, but I recognize it. She's calling upon the forest's magic. Then she raises one hand. The moon seems to glimmer at her fingertips. In one swift motion, she slices downwards, the moonlight trailing behind her. It pierces Evelyn like a spear, fatal and true. Her whole body convulses as her moon sickness wreaks its terrible havoc on her. Her flesh bubbles and it rolls as it tries to escape the dying spirit within. It's a gruesome sight, and I look away, turning instead to Abigail. She holds me tightly. As I watch Gelladora approach the shore, I can hear the buzzing of the fairies just out of sight as they start to return to the great to greet their queen. I don't even have to be connected to the forest to know that it's rejoicing. It's over. We've won. I stand there on the shore, hardly daring to move, expecting Evelyn to reappear, more powerful and furious. Or worse, for all of this to be an illusion as well. But it isn't. Not a trace of Evelyn remains, neither body nor soul. Gelladora stands on the ground, where last was. The Fairy Queen's eyes are closed in mourning. Not in losing Evelyn, of course, but losing the fairy she had once been. I look down at myself in my regular clothes once more, at my flesh and blood body. I shiver a little bit in the breeze, it's a miraculous feeling. Then I turn and pull Abigail towards me as we wrap our arms around each other in the biggest hug imaginable. Neither of us say anything, we don't have to. On the side of the lake, Morgan and Tara approach us. Tara's limping, leaning on Morgan for support. They both look a little bruised, but not too badly off. Abigail and I walk over to meet them.
You did it, huh? You really did it.
Yeah, we did.
It's still sinking in.
Morgan, Tara, are both of you all right?
Yes, I'm fine.
I'm good too. I messed up my ankle when we got here, but it's nothing too bad.
And your head.
Hey now, I already said not to worry about that one.
For better or for worse, it really is impossible to face Tara. She could have died several times for the last half hour, and here she is, cracking jokes. I really admire that about her.
Are you sure you're all right, Morgan? You kind of just jumped into a lake.
And it was totally badass.
Yes, I'm positive. Thank you for worrying about me, though.
That's what family's for.
The two of them exchange a smile. As they do, I look up to the sky once again, and just for a moment I close my eyes. In my head, I offer a word of thanks to the forest, for its protection and for everything it did for me. A chilly breeze blows in response. A loud buzzing fills the air, and we watch the swarm of fairies as they rush towards us from the trees. I step back to stand beside my friends as the fairies arrive, joyously fluttering around Gelladora's head, a bright smile illuminating her face as her people welcome her home. They don't speak, their need for human language now gone. They don't acknowledge me at all. I strain to try and spot Hay or Fro or Anna, but I can't. I'm sure they're there amongst the rest of the hive, but they don't pay me any mind at all. Maybe that's for the best.
So this is like really cool.
She and Morgan are both watching, somewhat awestruck.
When we get home, Mads, you've gotta write an autobiography. Either that or the best fantasy novel ever. I'm sure you can make millions off the book deal.
I wrap my arm around Abigail.
I'm good. I've got everything I need right here.
Abigail grins, putting her arm around me in return. Tara groans and makes an exaggerated gagging noise.
Okay, if you're gonna be that sappy all the time, then...
Morgan interrupts whatever the consequences will be by leaning forward and kissing Tara on the lips. That shuts her up fast.
Then we'll just have to outdo them, right?
So cute. Oh, my heart. For maybe the second or third time ever, Tara looks like she doesn't know what to say. And in a good way. As we all laugh, Gelladora approaches us, the rest of the fairies forming a cloud over her head.
So, it's over. There's much to be done. The forest will need time to heal and recover. It will take years, but it will happen. Thank you, all of you. Mere words cannot express how grateful I am. How grateful the forest is. Especially to you, Morgan and Abigail. Your family has suffered so much over the years.
That's right. Gelladora was there with Morgan for everything. She was the only one who can even come close to really understanding what Morgan's been through.
It's over now, though. Just like the forest, it'll take time to heal and recover. But we'll be okay.
I know you will.
Gelladora faces away from me, looking out towards the forest at large and towards the waiting cluster of fairies, her domain and her people.
What about the folks back in Eisenfeld? What'll happen to them?
I imagine they'll recover from the glamour rather quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't even remember Evelyn's existence. There might be some difficulty as they figure out who will manage their affairs.
She turns back to us now, smiling. In particular, she looks at Morgan.
But I don't imagine any of you will be around to concern yourselves with that.
Right.
At the same time, Morgan and Tara reach for each other's hand. They smile at each other, meaning halfway.
And you, Abigail, are you looking forward to leaving?
Certainly. I've heard so much about the rest of the world from Madison and from Tara already that I can't wait to see it myself. Although, I'm a little nervous about, what were they called?
Airplanes.
Yes, those. I do hope they're safe.
She looks at me for support and I put my arm around her.
It'll be fine. I promise.
She'll have a lot to get used to in the modern world, but it seems like she's just as excited to experience as I am to show it to her. Even Morgan will have some accumulating to do. Even Morgan will have some acclimating to do after spending her whole life with Eisenfeld's limited amenities. It's fine though. As Morgan mentioned, we have so much time. The Fairy Queen smiles at us again.
I see. If you don't mind, I'd like to show you just one last bit of magic. Something long overdue.
The four of us look at each other, then nod in assent.
Lead the way.
Gelladora takes us around the pond to the far side, right to the boundary of bare ground and covered snow. She kneels down, scraping together a mound in her hands, while the rest of the fairies watch from above in reverent silence. Their usual keening muted for now. The ball of snow in Gelladora's hands is shaped and smoothed out as she alters between scraping and patting it. I soon realize the form it's taking. That of one of the fairies. Gelladora then gathers several other materials from the forest debris. Pine needles, a soggy leaf, a couple tiny pebbles, and even more objects that I can't see, and arranges the pebbles of her little snow sculpture to form a face. Then she deftly weaves it together. She deftly weaves together a few sodden pine needles and ties them around the back of the head. I realize they're supposed to be glasses, or at least an imitation of them.
Madison, it's you!
As Gelladora wraps the leaf around the snow fairy, I realize that Abigail's right. It's not an exact replica, of course, but it's definitely supposed to be me. Once it's complete, Gelladora lifts a tiny model from the ground, holding it to her cupped hand like a treasure. For a second, I think she's going to hand it to me, but she walks right past and heads to the shore of the pond. With her back to us, she lifts her arms, holding the tiny sculpture aloft. Moonlight shines down on her, illuminating the snow in her hands. The air around them starts to glimmer and sparkle, the light of the moon refracting off of nothing. Gelladora's whole body glows with a soft white aura that brightens in her hands. Then the little fairy in her hands flutters to life and flies into the air. After just 2 beats of its fragile wings, it turns and joins the rest of the swarm, where it is immediately accepted into the fold. Fairy Queen turns back to face us, sparkling magic now calm once more.
A tribute in your honor. This was the first birth of our people in over a century, ever since I was first bound. Through this little one, your memory will live on in these woods.
That's adorable.
Thank you. It's an honor, really.
It's a bit strange to me that she'd choose me as the model rather than Morgan, whom she knows much better, or Abigail, who's far more intimately connected with the forest. After all, it's not like I did a whole lot as Fairy Queen. Still, the gesture is touching. I wish the little fairy for as long as I can until it's assimilated with the rest, and impossible to keep track of. Tara's positively green with envy.
Before you leave tomorrow, will you come join me for a final time? We have one last farewell to make.
She looks at Abigail as she says it. Abigail's eyes widen and she nods.
We've got a late train, so it's easy to do.
You already got us tickets home?
Hell yeah! One of us has to be on top of things around here.
She smirks and playfully smacks her shoulder. Well, I playfully smack her shoulder. Going home. Just the thought of it is exciting. The prospect of returning to our normal lives without having to fight for them. But now it feels kind of like a dream. For once, one that I know will come true. Once again, I wake up before Abigail does. Bed isn't even close enough. Isn't even close to big enough for both of us, but it didn't stop us from getting a full night's sleep. She lays nestled against my side, breathing peacefully while I contemplate the sunlight streaming in. No matter where Tara and I travel to, I'm always looking forward to going home. That's especially true now. It feels weird to imagine this time tomorrow we'll be on a plane over the sea. We still have a long day ahead of us though. Our train doesn't depart until the afternoon, and then it's hours to the city. At least it'll be much more cheerful than my trip out here, when it was just Tara and me. For as long as I can, I just remain in bed, cuddling close with Abigail. It's so nice to be able to just turn off my brain and relax. No deadlines, no threats, no flickering in and out of existence. Peace. It isn't too long before her eyes flutter and drift open. She yawns, cuddling me even closer. Without moving the rest of my body, turn my head to face her and our noses brush together.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madison.
How'd you sleep?
It was the best sleep I've had in 200 years.
Oh, my heart. She smirks and I laugh too.
That joke never gets old. Fitting.
Abigail moves in closer, tripping herself across my arm and shoulder like a cat. Her hair falls across my face and I blow it away with a playful puff of air.
What about you?
Better than I have in months.
It's true, we both passed out pretty quickly after getting back to the cabin last night. Even the excitement of the day's events couldn't keep us up.
Will our bed in America be this comfortable?
Oh, it's even better. Although BT, our cat, really likes to sleep up there. So you might have to fight him for the spot.
BT will have to find somewhere new to sleep because I don't want to share you.
She shoos away an imaginary cat with one hand. I love her.
Maybe he'll like Morgan. She's gotta be used to having cats around by now. Gillidud accounts. Technically?
Our home will be so lively, won't it?
Absolutely.
I can't wait.
Me either.
The sound and smell of Morgan and Tara preparing breakfast wafts through the bedroom, eventually storing us back into gear. I peer for what little clothes I brought while Abigail gets dressed.
Good morning.
Meowdy meow.
Please don't ever say that again. But, good morning.
Hello. What are we eating today?
Wow, you don't waste any time, huh?
I've wasted a lot of time not eating, and I intend to fully make up for it. You're in luck. I brought over all the food I had at home, so there's plenty.
She sets a platter of pastries on the table, and Abigail immediately dual wields a blueberry muffin and an everything bagel.
Wait, you already went all the way to town and back and then made breakfast?
Yes.
Isn't she amazing?
Morgan blushes. That may be the first time I've witnessed that. Crumbs litter the table, the aftermath of Abigail's enthusiastic eating. I've never met someone so delighted just to be eating food.
Have as much as you'd like. I'll bring the rest with us on the train.
I'm not sure we're gonna have to worry about leftovers.
Abigail grins in agreement. After we finish, I help take all the dishes back into the kitchen and set them by the sink. Morgan starts washing them right away.
I'm not sure who I'm washing these for, but it feels wrong to just leave them dirty.
What'll happen to this place once we're gone?
She shrugs.
I'll leave the key in my shop. I don't really care beyond that. It's nice to not have to.
She wipes the plates dry with a towel, and then we go back into the living room. The rest of the cabin is already immaculate. The blankets are folded and the furniture is realigned. Everything's in its place. I'd even say it's tidier than the day we arrived. I give my bedroom a final once-over, looking for anything I may have left behind. Of course there isn't anything. Shut the door behind me. The action has a sense of finality to it. Everyone else is waiting for me in the living room.
So we're going out into the woods one last time, right?
Yes. I need to say goodbye to a friend.
Whoa! You know someone else in the forest?
Oh yeah, the forest spirit.
Is it Elvis?
You're never gonna let that go, are you?
Who's Elvis?
Don't worry about it. Tara's just being dumb.
Aren't I always?
You got me there. Anyway, you'll see when we arrive.
I don't want to spoil the surprise, plus I want Abigail to be able to share a peaceful farewell, especially remembering what she told me before about the Fairy Queen and the Forest Spirit. We head outside into the forest. For the first time since we got to Eisenfeld, it's not that cold out. In fact, it's even a bit warm. I wonder if that's coincidence or if it also had something to do with Evelyn being gone. Neither would surprise me. We haven't gone very far when Gelidora suddenly appears, popping into sight just a few feet away. Her arrival is silent, no smoke or sound or anything like that, just 1 second it's empty and the next she's there.
Good morning.
Morgan and Tara both flinch at their sudden arrival, but Abigail and I are unaffected.
I've been waiting for you. I could feel the four of you into the forest.
That's awesome! So your fairy sense started tingling?
Gelidora tilts her head, perplexed. Tara really needs to learn her audience out here.
Anyway, if you're prepared, I'll take you all the rest of the way. It would take far too long to walk.
The five of us join hands, Gelidora standing between Morgan and me. Her hands are cold, but not unpleasantly so. In the time that it takes for me to blink, we're teleported to the grove of ancestral trees. Even without being one of the forest, the magic in this place is palpable. It soaks into the earth and trees, and the air is sweet. We approach the ancestral grove with careful, quiet steps. The destruction that Evelyn caused is more prevalent here. Streaks of ash still blemish the surrounding trees, painful reminders of the one she's slain. Just ahead, I can see the clearing, where I know the forest spirit will be. Gelidora sits aside, gesturing for Abigail and I to continue on. We do. When the forest spirit comes into view, I can hear Tara gasp from behind me. The spirit looks even weaker than the last time I saw it. It previously looked old, now it looks downright ancient. Its once terrifying eyes have lost their luster. Its wooden body is even more knotted and warped than before, and it's so small.
Is this your friend?
Without turning around, Abigail nods.
For all these years we've been together. It was the forest spirit who saved my soul when Evelyn came for my body.
Abigail reaches out a hand, going to the forest spirit's side. Even like every time before, I also kept my distance.
Abigail.
I know. It's time, isn't it?
Gelidora nods. The forest spirit peers down at the girl by its side. I'm sure that it loves her back. Abigail takes a single step backwards and Gelidora moves to her side. Then the Fairy Queen raises a palm and presses it against the forest spirit. The sensation of magic gathering is familiar to me by now. Even though this time it flows past me, not into me. Gelidora calls life in the surrounding trees. Here, where life is more vibrant, the ground ripples under her feet, surging with unseen power. The sunlight beaming onto us feels even warmer. Everything is glorious, happy, alive. The forest spirit twisted form starts to change and morph. Not in a painful way like how Evelyn died, but more peaceful. Jagged shards of wood soften and retract. His two legs start to stitch themselves together into one solid trunk. His arms stiffen, reaching outwards and upwards, slowly regaining the colossal height that it once possessed. Roots appear and bury themselves underground, as the forest floor itself rises a little to accommodate. I remember now that Abigail mentioned before that one of the Fairy Queen's duties was to help the forest spirit pass on, and with Geladora missing for so long it was impossible. I wonder how many decades or centuries it's been, or how many decades or centuries this one has existed before meeting Abigail. No wonder all the trees have such vibrance. No wonder this is the centre of life in the forest. Just like the process that made me the Fairy Queen, there's a little pomp and flair to the transformation. But instead, it feels intimate and calm. When Geladora retracts her hands and the magic dissipates once more, everything is still and silent. Abigail says goodbye to the forest spirit. We just turned into a tree. Abigail kneels on the floor before it, with the spirit's eyes being the only recognizable part of it. Abigail falls to her knees at the base of the newborn tree. The spirit's eyes glow slowly. The spirit's great eye slowly slides down the trunk, a final magical motion until it's level with her face. Despite the tears in her eyes, Abigail manages to smile.
Hello, old friend. Thank you for everything you've given me. Not just company, but another chance at life itself. I'll miss you. I really will. More than I'll miss anything else here. I'm sorry I wasn't around much lately. But I hope you know that I was very happy. Even when it was just us. Even when there was no one else.
She reaches out, touching her hand to the tree just like the Fairy Queen did. Except it isn't regal. It isn't a regal, powerful touch. It's delicate and soft. She presses her forehead against the tender bark, not bothering to wipe away the tears.
And I hope you know that I'll be even happier now. You don't have to worry about me. I'll be okay.
Abigail remains there for a long moment. The forest spirit's eyes watch her as best it can, for as long as it can. Slowly it goes dim. The red light fades to grey, then to the same plain brown as the rest of the tree. Within moments, it's indistinguishable from the rest of the forest. Abigail looks up and notices the change. She brushes her hand across the sightless eye, and then she raises her face to Geladora.
Thank you.
I'm sure you made its life that much more wonderful as well.
I hope so. Tara, do we still have time before we have to board our train?
Couple hours, yeah.
If it's no trouble, I'd like to return to the Fairy Grove one final time.
I'd be happy to take you.
Tara and Morgan nod in approval. They've both been keeping pretty quiet, although it's only unusual for Tara. Still, I'm glad that she's being considerate of the solemn mood. Once more, Geladora takes our hands and transports us to the fairy clearing. There's no evidence here of what took place last night. But there aren't any deer this time, a few birds are in their nests, all's right in the grove. It's a little strange to not instantly feel the presence of the fairies in my mind. I'm sure they're close by, but like usual, they keep the distance. As soon as we regain our balance, Abigail wordlessly starts to head for the shore. Tara taps me on the shoulder.
Hey, me and Morgan are gonna take a walk. Give you two a couple minutes.
Sure. Thanks.
Two of them set off at a leisurely pace around the water. Geladora goes with them. She and Morgan will surely want to say goodbye as well. Abigail's already down by the water, and I move to join her. Her hands grasp mine and she squeezes tightly. She breathes in deeply. I do the same. The air is crisp but refreshing. This place has been so special to both of us that I'm a little sad to leave it behind as well. I know that's nothing compared to how Abigail must feel. I don't speak. I'm sure that in her heart Abigail's saying her final goodbyes to this place. I'll let her be the first to speak. We stand there in comfortable silence for a while, hand in hand.
I said before that I had come to love the forest as much as I possibly could. But now, when we're about to leave, I realize that I was wrong. Because I love it more now than I ever have before. It isn't that I want to stay, but rather that I never had the opportunity to miss it. And now, on the eve of my departure, I'm sure that I will. I think there's a certain kind of love that comes from having something, but there's a different kind of love that can only come from losing it.
To my surprise, she isn't crying. In the past, when we've talked like this, it's been accompanied by tears, both joyful and sad. But now I look over at Abigail. She looks determined to be happy.
Just because you leave something behind doesn't mean you've lost it. It just means that you have to learn to love it in a different way. When you look back on something and it makes you smile, that counts too. Love isn't just about moving forward. Sometimes it's about looking back. This place will always be special to you. And to me, in different ways.
What if I forget? What if someday I can't look back and remember what it looks like? What if I can't remember how it felt the first time we kissed? What if I forget how happy I am right now?
Even if you forget, you'll still carry it with you. It's still a part of who you are. It made you the person you are today. The memories aren't what's important. What's important is how they help you grow.
We go quiet again. After that, I surprised even myself with those words. When I look back 5 or 10 or even 15 years from now, I wonder how I'll feel about this time in my life. Not just the forest and all the magical things that have happened, but everything that led up to it. Working on Tower Normal, and all that we accomplished there, all the dreams that I pushed aside for it, but also the new ones that I instilled within me. I still have a lot to figure out and feelings to sort through, but now the future doesn't seem so ominous and scary. In fact, I'm looking forward to it. From behind us I can hear the sounds of Morgan and Tara approaching once more from their walk. I squeeze Abigail's hand and she starts to lead me back towards her friends.
Come on, let's go home.
All aboard! The train conductor yells out his iconic line, and there's a loud hiss as the train begins to move. It feels like something out of an old-timey film, but I suppose that's more than appropriate for how our journey has gone so far. Beside me, Abigail sits with a white-knuckled grip on the seats, alternating between staring out the window and making sure the ground is still beneath her. Across from me, Tara and Morgan sprawl across each other, all pretenses of not a couple abandoned. As for me, I drink it all in, with a smile on my face. Every one of us deserves this. We pull out of the station, and I gaze out the window alongside Abigail. On the way in, I remember how scary and foreboding the forest looked, and how it felt like entering another world. Now, on the way out, I certainly won't miss it, but I'm not afraid anymore. I wonder if De La Dora is watching us, somewhere out there.
Hey, Mads.
Of course Tara's the one to break the silence.
How proud do you think my folks will be that I finally got around to adding forged government documents to my criminal record?
I just have to laugh. I can't even be mad at her for this one, because there's no way we're getting Abigail into the country otherwise. I'm not sure how she did it. Maybe that's a brand of magic of her own.
What will be the first thing we do when we get back?
Asks Abigail.
Oh, you know we're gonna party!
From where her head rests on Morgan's lap, Tara still manages to strike a pose.
We've got New Year's coming up. Plus, Maddie's birthday is the day before.
Both Abigail and Morgan's eyes widen. I try to brush it off. Every year, Tara swears we're going to go all out for my birthday. Every year she takes like 2 drinks and passes out, or falls out of her bar stool, whichever comes first.
Morgan, Abby, both of you drink, right?
I do.
It's been quite a long time since I have, of course, but I'm certainly partial to it.
You both know what that means then, right?
Tara's question is met with 3 blank stares.
Drinking contest!
Oh god, Tara. Not again.
Come on, you're okay with Morgan and Abby watching you drunkenly sing MCR, right?
No, I'm not okay. While Tara launches into an extremely exaggerated version of my last birthday party for Morgan and Abigail's benefits, I find myself looking out the window, watching the world go by once again. There's so much that I'm looking forward to when we get home. Teaching Abigail about the world, going back to school. I'll also do my best to help Morgan take over the duties on the show. Maybe I'll even come back to guest star in an episode or two. For so long, I wanted the world to slow down, just a little bit, so I could catch up, figure things out, figure myself out. If there's one thing that being dead and hearing Abigail's stories taught me, it's that I don't want to look back later with regret. Just like I told her at the lake, we have a lot of good memories left to create. I intend to savor every minute of them. I listen to the conversation, laughing along even while I daydream about the future. My heart is happy here, even if my head's in the clouds right now. Abigail leans into my side, giggling at some joke whose punchline I missed, but I smile all the same. She'll make an optimist out of me yet. If there's one thing that we have now, it's time. And as for everything else, well, I'm sure the world won't mind if I keep it waiting just a bit longer.
Oh, my heart. Oh. If it was physically possible for my heart to melt, it would have friend by now. But so much of this game was a fucking gut punch, but... Oh, it's so adorable. As is customary by now, we should be watching the credits all the way through.
This life, we have so much time, just give it time. We have so much time. Oh, in this life, we have so much time, just give it time, give it time, give it time.
I don't know why they bothered putting any other endings, honestly. That was... Mwah. Oh, my heart. It's definitely a lot darker than I was expecting, but it was really good. I think I do need a dose of wholesome after this. I don't know, I've been given some recommendations by a friend of mine. So that'll probably be what's up next. But I'll see. There's actually a small spin-off series called I Told You So, which was made after this. It takes place after this ending. So technically this is the canon ending. And it's about them running the show afterwards. So that's up next, probably Friday or Sunday. Cryptids are harmful in making this game. I'm so happy to get the happy ending they deserve.
Madison, look! There it is!
Abigail reaches out the window to point at the ocean, sparkling in the summer sun. My heart pounds as I hear the pure joy in her voice. The instant the train pulls to a complete stop, she and Tara bolt for the door. Morgan grins at me and starts to follow. I'm right behind her. Alright gang, this is it. All four gals head to the beach for a day of fun in the sun. Tara's leaping for joy while wearing a Tara Normal t-shirt, complete with UFO and rainbow. Maddie and Abigail are both in light beachwear. Morgan has cut her hair short and watches them with a smile.
Smell that air. Feel that ocean breeze. Look at those crashing waves. I told you this place was awesome.
So let's back at us to make sure we're all as overjoyed as she is. With all her excitement, you'd think she was the one who'd never seen a beach before. Ugh. Morgan looks adorable with short hair.
This is...
Her voice trails off as her head swivels around, still trying to take it all in. I silently step up behind her and take her hand. She doesn't look at me, but the small squeeze she gives my hand is all I need to know. She appreciates it.
Pretty incredible, huh?
She closes her eyes and tilts her head towards the sun, taking in the summer glow.
It's better than I ever dared to imagine.
For a moment, I'm reminded of the glow that surrounded her the first time we read together. For the first time, my heart stopped when I looked at her. It happens so often that I've lost count. But now I know her as a human. Now I've known her as a human for longer than I knew her as a ghost. And she's still got that same otherworldly beauty that she had back then.
Thank you, Madison.
Abigail looks back at me and smiles.
For everything.
I know the kiss is coming before Abigail even starts to move, and I'm more than ready for it. I wrap my arm around her and let her lips press against mine, our bodies perfectly pressed together.
You were worth the wait.
Touch our foreheads together, fingers intertwined. There's no need to say anything else. For once, Tara waits for us to finish before interjecting. But the instant we separate, she looks back to her boisterous self.
Are you guys coming or what?
Morgan puts her arms around Tara's shoulders as she waves us on. Not missing a beat, Tara pushes her long hair to the side so Morgan can kiss her cheek.
Come on, I'll race you there.
You're on.
Those two turned out to have a surprising amount of common. Whatever store of energy they both draw from, it seems to be infinite. Morgan and I go to a much more similar pace, although she's more enthusiastic about going along with Tara's craziness. Love does that, I guess.
You go ahead, babe. I'll catch up.
Me too. My swimsuit definitely isn't built for sprinting.
Abigail gave me a nod and another quick peck. Tara tries to do the same, but Morgan pulls her in for a full-on kiss. When she pulls away, Tara looks completely stunned.
Better hurry, Abigail. Don't waste the head start.
That's the first time I've ever seen a kiss used to give someone a tactical advantage. I can respect that. Abigail takes off running while Tara blinks away her days before dashing after her.
No fair!
Yes, it is! You have longer legs than me!
Morgan and I are left in the dust, both chuckling at our overzealous partners. I doubt either of us expected someone so energetic to be such a perfect fit.
We should probably go after them.
Lead the way.
We both take off behind our girlfriends, entering the water and rushing to their arms. I can barely feel the cold of the water as Abigail's warmth envelops me.
And here I thought you were going to keep me waiting again.
I lean in for a kiss at the same time, our lips pressing together in a deep, warm unison.
Don't you worry, Abigail. I'll always be right behind you.
The smell she gives me puts the sunlight to shame.
I know, Madison. I know.
Oh, it's so cute. Oh, it's adorable. I'm not sure if it makes up for all the fucking trauma this fucking story put me through. But it was definitely adorable. And very much worth the wait. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take some time to recover from this shit. Next stream, probably not tomorrow. Either Friday or Sunday. I'll be playing Told You So. The free little spin-off series about them hanging out after the events of this true ending, which was this. I don't know why they bothered making any other ending. This was perfect. Go off, I guess. They didn't want this to be a kinetic novel. Philly, at least. But anyway, I expected this thing to take me like a month or two to finish, but then I got invested and blazed through the whole thing. It's been like 2 weeks. Jesus. But anyway, see you next stream. Bye.